40K is not for everyone. I love Warhammer. I got into the hobby about 3 years ago now, and I absolutely love it. I love the world, the settings, the models, the tabletop game, the characters, the books, the video games, the animations, the art, the community. There is so much about this setting that I love. I went from having a passive knowledge on the fantasy setting to being completely invested in the lore of the 41st millennium, and now I own 3 whole armies that I still collect and paint to this day. And it's all thanks to that damn animated short called Astartes that blew my bored fucking quarantine ass mind out of the back of my head and introduced me into the insane world of these giant master chiefs on even more steroids. And then Bricky came along in my recommendations and shoved even more lore into my noggin, and that made me into the plastic addicted paint snorter that I am now.
There is no meme. This is just a threat.
What I'm trying to say is, I came into this setting and this hobby by chance, and I found myself falling in love with it. But despite of that, despite being someone with little skill with painting and now owning hundreds of painted models both big and small, and being welcomed into this community that have been here for years and even decades now, 40K is not for everyone. Recently, there's been a large portion of people on Twitter and other social media sites that have been getting up in arms over the setting and the hobby. People that have been yelling about how GW needs to add female Space Marines, and by extension be more inclusive for all the factions. And people undermining existing factions that already exist, making bombastic claims that show that they clearly don't know the lore. On one hand, I get it. Inclusion is a good thing. It's a great thing to have in media. Despite what some people may think, it's good to have diversity and inclusion of characters of all sexes, shapes, and sizes. But it's important to remember that this is a universe where humanity worships a corpse for a god. Human life is a complete shit pen where 99% of the population work miserable jobs for the rest of their lives. And the military have to go up against monstrosities like this, and this. The Guard doesn't give a shit what you identify as. You will get in the ranks and die like the rest of the army. You think the Space Marines are this cool boys only club? Fuck no. These fuckers are dealing with the worst shit the universe has to offer. It takes a toll both physically and mentally. So much so that the Sisters of Battle are more incorruptible than them. The all-female fighting force is more incorruptible than the poster boy Space Marines, and yet you don't see a lot of people advocating for Brothers of Battle. You know why? Because there's lore reasons for that. Just like how there are lore reasons for why there are only male Space Marines. Keep in mind, this is also a universe where there is an entire faction of cyborgs that saw off their limbs to become closer to a machine spirit that probably doesn't even exist. Orcs that just want to drag race and go crumpin', and elves that torture and enslave other races just for the fun of it. Not everyone is going to get behind that, because 40K is not for everyone. Much like Berserk, 40K is a setting with so many heavy topics that may hit a little too close to home for some people. These settings are not for the faint of heart, and they are not for people that get disturbed by topics like these. And that's okay, because it doesn't have to be for everyone. Likewise for the model side of things. Not everyone is capable to paint and make the minis in the same quality as others. And that's okay. But it's not okay to berate someone for the hobby that they like or an opinion that they have. Because at the end of the day, this is a hobby. And it's a fictional universe that's supposed to be fun. So just let it go. If you don't like it, that's fine. Because 40K is not for everyone. But anyone can enjoy 40K. Anyone can come into this hobby and find something to enjoy. The factions in the world is so vast that anyone can find something to connect with and be passionate about. In the Imperium alone, there are so many armies and characters that can show off a creative side of people and express themselves on so many levels, allowing them to create their own box of toy soldiers. And I think that's great. The video games are plentiful, and while they might not be the best, they still introduce the world in unique ways, showcasing new and exciting concepts for the fans to enjoy, and bring people together in fantastic ways. So no, I'm not saying I don't want new people in this hobby, because I do. No matter who you are, I want to see your minis. I want to see your art. I want to hear about your OC Guardsmen. I want to know about your custom sub-faction. I want to play a tabletop game with you. I want to play Darktide with you. I want you to feel welcome. But only if you do the same for me. Anyone can enjoy 40k.